This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good evening. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Happy New Year. Thank you for all coming. The first part of the evening is the organizational meeting. The agenda has 21 resolutions, and the first thing we do is we do a roll call of attendance. So, John, would you check it?
Tim?
Here.
Yeah.
Here.
Yes, here. Tina?
Here.
Pedro?
Here. Okay, the next rule is the resolution number 1, the rules of procedure, resolution 1, 2025. May I have a motion and a second to accept the resolution?
I'll make it.
Darren makes the motion. For a second? Tina seconds. Discussion.
I was wondering if anyone would be opposed to starting earlier.
I am not, but go ahead. Go. Ask. Does anyone want to start earlier? What time were you thinking?
6?
Does anyone have an objection? We move the regular meetings to 6? Is the work session at 4 okay?
4 is fine. But, I mean,
That tends to work better for the department people for coming in to visit us and talk about things like that.
Well, I feel like 6 in the summertime is not always the best because people are out doing things and working till later and mowing their lawns and everything else. So I feel like maybe it works better in the winter, but it doesn't necessarily work better in the summer.
6:30?
That's what Jamie did, 6:30. Randy turned it to 7. Or changed it to 7.
Well, we have to have a regular time that's so we don't have to do notices. I'm inclined towards 6, but of course Darren is right. 7 o'clock is summertime. At 6 o'clock would be people may interfere with. Is anybody? Let me ask the public. Anybody have a strong feeling on 6 or 7? Objection to 1?
People that work till 5 have a hard time getting here for 6.
Okay.
That's the only thing I would see with it.
Okay. Are there any? Let me make a note of this one. 6 p.m. Any other points of discussion for the resolution? I will say that these are pretty much the same from last year, except I typed up some of the typos that were we added. Last year I did it in a bit of a rush, and there were some paragraphs on committee reports and meetings and stuff that don't seem to apply for the town, so I eliminated those. The other thing that I worked on was trying to tie in the regular work session with the board meetings, so that in case if it falls on a holiday, that it would the same rule that would apply the next business day at 4 o'clock would be the adjourned date, and that's pretty much it. So let's see now, Tim.
In previous years, I think in last year, we decided to have the adjourned date, the adjourned time be at 7 o'clock the next day.
It would for the regular,
Okay.
so we can do that too, or 6 o'clock, whatever we decide that the regular board meeting is. Okay.
I think 6 is a little better. I mean, obviously, I see the reasons for 7. I see the reasons for 6. Nothing is ever perfect for every single person, so
Okay.
I don't have a strong opinion. But
Okay, so I'm going to, so there's been a request to amend this provision to 6 p.m. or to be a regular board meeting time. We can always change that at some point if we feel that doesn't work out for us. We can make a motion to amend these rules as a resolution and reset it at 7, and that way, then it would become the regular board meeting. So we could just do this, this isn't, etched in stone. We can come back and amend it and make changes as the board sees fit to. So we have a motion and a second, as we're going to make a motion to make the amendment to the resolution number 1, that the regular meetings shall start at 6 p.m. The work session shall start at 4 p.m. If there is a holiday that falls on one of the regular board meetings, it will be at 6 p.m. the following business day. And if it falls on the work session, it'll be 4 p.m. the following business day. That's my amendment. We have a motion and a second to accept the amendment.
I'll make it.
Tim, is there a second?
Second.
Tina, any further discussion?
Yes, the section about special meetings, section A, subsection 3. I noticed that, so I think you took this from the Board of Supervisors.
Yeah.
Rules of procedure. I think, according to this book, the state law, subsection 3 would be signed by 2 members of the board, not by a majority of the board. And taking that from this book, page 35.
Well, when we, since we haven't used that provision at all, why don't we, I'm not going, okay, he's making a motion that he's claiming that book that he's got is support. I'm not going to sit and read it. We got lots to do. A majority can write a written request for a special meeting, and he's claiming that 2 members of the board could ask for a special meeting. I'm going to defer that. So the motion is to accept it as amended with terms with respect to the times. We have a vote.
While we're in discussion.
We're not in discussion. We're making a vote. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tim.
We're just procedurally, were we just voting to accept that amendment?
No, we're accepting the motion as with the amendment.
Got it. Okay, so rules of procedure, section C and F. We haven't been going by either of those rules the past several years, including this past year. So I think it's appropriate to delete both of those sections since they haven't been enforced.
You're saying EF hasn't come
That's correct.
for special meetings?
No, rules of procedure, probably the next section. Rules of procedure for both regular and special meetings. C and F have, as far as I know, never been enforced.
I tried to enforce the C for the beginning part of last year. I was trying to be, instill a little decorum into the free for all that sometimes the conversation gets. I still believe that anybody who wants to talk publicly needs to be recognized by the chair. And I've been doing that. I've been letting people who raise their hands get a chance to talk. Just a minute. So I'm going to keep them. I just recommend we keep that one and F, because these are things that help the chair preserve order. And when these meetings get a little out of hand, the chair needs a rule to preserve order. And that's what's going to happen. Go ahead.
C is not talking about the public, it's talking about board members. We've never raised our hands to be.
At the beginning of the year, last year, I was waiting for people to be recognized by the board. It isn't raising hands like it's in school. It's being recognized by the chair.
Just reading what it says raise his or her hand and
Okay.
address the chair, and shall not further proceed until recognized by the supervisor and the board.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, could I have a motion to accept those as resolution number 1? Those are the rules of procedure for 2025, except as amended with respect to the times. Can I have a vote, please?
Do you want a roll call vote or just?
No, it's roll call, yes.
Okay. Tim,
Yes.
Darren,
No, because I don't agree with the time change.
Laura,
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
David?
Yes. Carried. Resolution number 2 is the list of salaries and remuneration for 2025. This will be on a roll call vote. I have a motion and a second to accept resolution 2.
Make it.
Second, is there a second?
I'll second.
Darren seconds or makes the motion. Discussion?
I'd like Chip added.
Okay. We'll have to put that in. What's Chip's rate? I can't remember either. So why don't we do that? We'll just say, listen, we will, it's a motion to amend to add Chip's rate of pay to the salary schedule. And we will provide that information and update that when we get it.
The reason it's not on here is because it says on a biweekly basis for 26 payrolls. These are for full-time employees.
Okay.
Well, they're
And
not.
then clerk-
They're not because Nancy's not full-time.
She's the only one listed. Other than that, it's not what it says at the top.
She's year round. She's not full-time, she's year round.
She's supposed to.
I don't see what the harm would be in adding Chip. It would make things more clear.
You're gonna have to change the first line of it because Chip's not paid 26 weeks.
Got it. Got it.
Nancy is. That's why she's on this. So what am I doing? Am I changing this? to
No,
that?
we have a motion and a second to accept this. We're having a discussion. Laura, it's,
I rescind my statement. Or however that works.
do-
Find a word and place it in the sentence.
Say, you're gonna let it, any further discussion?
I have, go ahead. Please, no, you.
The court clerk,
Yes.
I was looking around and the town of Jay has 3 days a month and they have a clerk rate of $5,150 and the judge receives $12,875. And I think that that's pretty on par with what we do or what we're proposing to do for 2025. And I was wondering if we could, because we were discussing a possible raise for Michael Godot, and then I didn't remember us agreeing on a salary for I didn't even know I didn't know the name of the person until this paper was released. So I didn't, that's my other mention.
Okay, what we can do is we can bring it up at like the next meeting, put it on the agenda for a discussion of that. We're always free to amend things like that. I'm not sure with Victoria the amount at this point because it's been sort of a commitment was made. And Mike probably would want to be heard on this anyway. So what we can do is accept it and then bring it up again on at a work session.
When we accept it, then a commitment's really being made. No commitment has been made by the town board.
You can accept it though and make another resolution at the next meeting to change it if you decide to change it.
I'm just saying,
You
if
don't have
if
to
the
stick to that.
issue is that the commitment's been made, I would say this is a pretty strong commitment, adopting this number at our organizational meeting.
But remember the night Mike was here and Mike said that he didn't want a raise, he wanted the money to go to Victoria because she was gonna be working the extra hours to make up the extra
Yep.
filing and doing the extra work that it was gonna take to do for the first year. And then after the first year, they would renegotiate back down to what?
I thought that the
We
board
would
had
be-
been the ones who recommended a raise. That was,
No, what,
Mike said he didn't want to raise it, just like Tina just said.
I feel that the court clerk should be paid hourly, not salary. We don't know how many hours she's going to work, so to pay her salary,
She's gonna work an awful lot of hours to start with.
so,
An awful lot.
yeah, as I suggested at the end of last year, this is new for us. We have a judge who has retired, sought not to be elected again, another term. We had a request from our judge for a court clerk, which is advisable in every case. I know that since Victoria started doing work for Mike, she has gone through the files, has a list of unpaid fines and scuff laws, and is sending out notices to people that they've been coming into town hall. So there's a certain revenue production there with that kind of efficiency. The other thing that we asked Victoria to do was help us with the archives of the court records, which, at the regular meeting, we'll talk about the audits for the board. We just don't have enough data to sit there and, it's a new position and we could revise it if they stop getting so efficient that she's not going to be here that much. We could request a reduction.
I didn't know that we had hired her. She's already hired?
Well, she's hired for the issue.
That should be a town board decision.
Okay, you guys looked something up last time that said that.
I looked it up.
His own.
I looked it up.
He
It's
picks
town-
his own, but the board has to agree with
It's
it.
the other way
It's
around.
not to verify.
It's the other way around.
True.
The board picks the person and the judge has to advise and consent to the choice. According to this book.
Okay, it's,
If I understand, the court picks the clerk, but the board makes the,
Final
the
appointment.
the board makes the appointment.
the
Yeah.
money.
Right, the judge pays the
Got
money, right?
I thought, yeah, I
That's what
thought
I
it
thought
was.
too.
I do want to emphasize that
I know, but that's what it is, yeah. I may be wrong, but I
It
thought it
says
was
the
that.
town board and the
15
town
minutes,
justice
I think,
must
on
work
your two
together
resolutions.
to reach a consensus on who to appoint as court clerk. While the town board passes a resolution appointing or terminating the clerk, the town board must act only with the town justice's consent. So he picks and apparently we,
And then you
Yeah.
just ratify it.
I read it.
Okay, so,
either way.
just a moment, Seal. Where are we with this? So we need to,
We have a resolution and we've had our discussion.
Second,
Hopefully we can vote.
discussion.
I have had several things to bring up about this.
Tim,
Yes, thank you.
no, I wasn't calling you. He's gotta call you. I thought we were doing the vote.
No, Victoria, I am very happy with that. I think she's a very good choice. This is strongly nothing against Victoria. I just feel that passing a salary when we don't know how much she's working, I feel hourly is better. John's title should be changed to Park Superintendent. Ashton's title is Parks Deputy Superintendent. I've never been clear on what Nancy does. I'd just like a little more information about that. And I think it seems odd to me that Don is making the same as all the other highway department employees. I would think he should make a little more. He's been there a lot longer.
I think we go through salary lists and things like that during the budget process. This is just the organizational meeting. This has been agreed through the budget process. And you want to bring it up during the budget hearing, that's fine. We're just making a list of what the salaries are that we can publish it. So,
And before we can change them, do you have those job descriptions in your handbook? Those job titles?
I don't even want to talk to them.
I understand what you're saying, but before we
I
can
haven't
change
referred to
titles.
the handbook.
Okay, because, no, I'm just asking, because when you send them to the county, they have to actually be job descriptions that you actually have in your handbook before we can actually hand those titles out.
Oh, you're
I'm
not
not sure why
parks.
we're getting bogged
Yeah,
down
for the
on a
parks
title.
and for
Yeah,
Ashton, stuff like that.
I'm, listen,
Go ahead.
We've been through 20 minutes now and we haven't even made it through the second resolution out of 21.
I know,
This is why I said we should use 2 separate meetings.
well, because you knew you'd be asking all these questions.
All
Right,
this stuff
because
can
it's my
be
job.
changed later.
Yeah.
Let's just okay this, then change it later. Ask it to be put on the agenda for a meeting, and it can be changed afterwards. And then you can work out the title thing, we can check and see whether it's in the handbook, which I have no idea. And go from there.
Okay, so roll call vote, please.
Tim?
Yes.
Yes. Darren?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Deborah?
Yes. Okay, resolution number 3, these are the appointments that are made pursuant to the town law. We have a motion and a second to approve these appointments for 2025.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Laura, Made the motion, second. Discussion?
I would like the standing committees to be removed from it because the dates are wrong for the appointments. And we already made a resolution number 168 of 2024. We've already done this. I don't know why we need to redo this again.
It's not, you're not changing, that's what you put at that meeting.
We didn't because Jim goes to 2026, Stephanie goes to 2027, Mike goes to 2028, Keith goes to 2028,
Okay,
according
so-
to the law. That
So-
would be my request.
Okay, so I typed in the wrong dates.
I don't know why we have to make another resolution is my question.
We don't, we just correct it later.
And
No,
then,
she's asking, why are we?
This
we've
is
already-
this is identifying who the town has appointed.
This goes into the organizational meeting minutes all the time.
We
If the
understood that.
dates are wrong, we'll fix them. I can put that in there, that we accept it.
all I'm saying is we just did it last month. I don't-
We did, that's where we got the dates from, and I have to send those to the county.
Why don't we correct it now then?
Because we got another 20 motions to go.
Right, again,
You will. I've got this one.
we shouldn't just be a rubber stamp, and if something's wrong, we should correct it.
Well, as long as in the resolution, we say we're going with the corrections. It's.
All we have to do is say with the dates as
with the
accepted
corrected
with
dates.
at the December meeting.
That'll work too. Is that what you want to put?
I'm fine with it. So we have a motion and a second. It's a roll call vote, please.
I have one more question. Nicole, since you're here, you said that your title is account clerk, but you're listed as account clerk and clerk to the supervisor. On
That's
this.
what her title is.
But she said her title is account clerk, but we have her listed as clerk to the supervisor and account clerk. That was my question.
She's secretary. What is it?
I'm account clerk.
You're not the secretary?
I'm not the clerk to the supervisor anymore, I'm the account clerk.
Clerk to the supervisor.
Well, it's going to be Carissa. It's going to be Carissa Gray.
Oh, Carissa's gonna be clerk to the supervisor?
I guess so.
Shirley always had both titles.
I never saw that. I don't know. I always thought Shirley Warren's account clerk.
She was clerk to the supervisor. We can look in the old minutes. That's I don't know. In the past, when Shirley was here, that's what was voted on. You didn't, neither do I.
Also, in the papers, I didn't see anywhere that Kevin Lincoln was listed as the deputy highway supervisor.
No, you got this.
Well, wait a moment. He's not with me. He's not on this list. I don't.
He was he's listed under the salaries as deputy.
That's why he's not on this one. He's not a supervisor's appointment.
Or town clerk appointment or town justice appointment. Roll call.
So I guess I'll make a motion to amend it so that it's correct, so that Nicole's title is correct and Chris's title is correct. Nicole's title is account clerk and
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please, as amended.
Okay. Pam,
yes,
Laura,
Yeah.
I mean, Darren. Darren, did you say yes? And I didn't hear.
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Tina,
Before you give Chris that
Title, it's gotta be listed with the county
it's
again.
gotta be listed with the county again, because you may have to
And
take
she
the
don't have-
civil exam and stuff before you can get that title out, maybe possibly, I'm not sure. Just to throw out,
All right.
for the clerk to the supervisor?
I'm not sure. Does not have to, okay,
Right.
okay,
because
then we're
that's what you
fine.
were before.
That's
Okay.
my
That's fine.
default category. I
There
don't
we
have
go.
to follow those rules.
Okay, so Tina,
There you go.
Darren, yes?
Yes.
Favor?
I'm yes.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
so Dawn, we also amended the dates, right?
That's what we
Yes,
know
I
how
wrote
to
down
do.
the date.
Okay, resolution number 4, this is the scheduled meetings for 2025. I also scheduled it or put in an organizational meeting scheduled for the beginning of 2026. normally what the regular rules were is that the board would sit and set its organizational meeting. Most towns tend to do their organizational meetings on the same day they hold their regular meetings. But we did, we need to agree on that. And so I put that in. That's the 6th of January, 2026.
The only one I would question is New Year's Eve.
That's why I got double asterisk there. I think we can revisit that one. It's like a reminder to us to change that date.
That's the Wednesday, obviously.
Yeah.
That's the, yeah, I'm with Darren on that. And what date is the 6th? January 6th.
Anybody got it?
The following Wednesday.
Okay.
Right, or following.
Yep. I'll get it.
We have to make a motion.
Motion and a second, please.
I'll make it.
A second.
Second?
Any discussion, questions?
I do have a question. The work sessions,
Okay. It's okay. You can talk. It's fine. You're allowed to talk.
the work sessions, technically, they're not supposed to have any intention of voting on any matter or taking any action.
That's why I wanted to put work session / meeting.
But
But when they're an advertised meeting, that's why they can have that. If it's a published advertised meeting, we can make resolutions as we see fit. There's no rule saying that we can't make a resolution there.
I wish that we could just do one meeting and then work sessions as needed.
Well, I get into the dilemma lots of towns faces. If things come up, and the one meeting a month is not sufficient to handle all the things that the town needs to get business done on. So by calling it a regular work session like that and advertising it as such, we could entertain resolutions as they come up. It's not for the purpose of doing most of the town's business, but for example, tonight we're going to be discussing a broken snow blower. Right, so we meet now and the snow blower breaks next week, and they want to see if we can get us a new one by the end of the month because it's important. We could make a resolution then to help authorize the purchase of the snow blower. It gives us more flexibility.
So we're essentially doing bi-monthly town board meetings, not work session and a board meeting.
Well, the work session is structured so that it's more informal, but they can come in and discuss a particular issue or two. But we would reserve for ourselves the authority to undertake a resolution because it happened to come up. And we'd have to wait till the following regular meeting, and it becomes a problem.
I mean, we do a lot of resolutions at work sessions.
I try not.
And that's why if you look at the sign-in sheet and in my notes, always the / meeting. That's where we had it written down, which was the / meeting. And work sessions were always an as-needed thing. We didn't, in days gone by, do a work session necessarily every month.
That's what I would like to do.
We did, it was if it was needed.
Right.
We've needed them every month so far, but like around the holidays, they were usually canceled, summertime, things like that.
Again, we amend every meeting as we see fit at the meeting prior.
What do you mean?
We can change the schedule.
Got it.
Typically, like at this meeting, we'll say, all right, the work session falls on this date and nobody's going to be here. Can we change it to a Thursday instead?
It seemed like there were a lot more resolutions. I mean, I agree that we shouldn't really be doing real business and real substantive resolutions. It's fine if we need to fix a snow blower or something, but as far as anything much beyond that, I think they should happen at the regular meetings. It seemed like it was happening much more in the first part of last year, that the work sessions were being basically treated as just regular meetings and not as work sessions. But that seems to have tapered off, which I think is good. Yeah, the problem with the work session, from my perspective, it is good that it's easier for department heads to attend. They're bad because it's harder for everyday working people to attend. And there's a perception that I'll leave it at that. But we should have the meetings when people can attend.
Motion and a second is already made. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes?
Opposed? Carried. Motion number 5, this is the schedule of regular office hours and the schedule for the holidays. I have a motion and a second to accept that, please.
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Darren and Laura, any questions?
Have the regular office hours always been until 3:30? I thought the regular office hours were until 4.
I'm sort of following a few of the others. I don't know if we have regular office hours, to be honest with you. I think that, that we've been sort of, Nicole gets here at 8, the place is open, but, there's periods of time where she needs to get things done as best she can. The clerk comes in at 10 and leaves at 3. So we'll have Carissa here. Carissa will be here from 9 until at least 2. And so, basically, I think if we publish that these are the regular office hours, that at least gives the public some idea of.
The clerk sets her own hours, and my hours are posted
Don,
online.
Don, it's just talking about posting for the
Right.
public, because we get a lot of people coming up wondering what our office hours are. If they see them on, that doesn't stop them from coming in to pay a bill or something like that. Somebody's sitting here. But this is for people that we can post these as our regular business hours.
And if we have them for 3:30, if somebody comes in at 3:30, they can still be taken care of.
Yeah.
Where now, if they come in at 4, you're stuck there until 4:30, getting everything.
No, it's okay.
Can we put it on the website somewhere?
No, that's what we'll talk about the
They'll go
website
on.
Yeah.
issues later.
Thank
All
you.
right.
There've been several times at least that I've needed to get my mail or make copies, et cetera, put things on people's mailboxes. I've been here at 3:30 or 3:45 and haven't been able to get in the building. And all the town board members have keys.
I can't answer that. That's not a me question.
No, I understand, but we haven't been doing it, and I don't know why exactly, so. Does anybody care? I mean, what's your opinion of whether you have a key or?
I don't think.
I know you don't have a key, I'm just,
I
it's not like we're.
don't need one.
Okay. It's a
Can I
bit,
have yours?
I don't want one. I don't need one.
all right, well, can we revisit that one, because I'd like to have some more,
It's not even part of the resolution.
I know.
Yeah. Okay, so are we gonna do a roll call vote on this?
No, it's
Thanks, or just
all in favor, by saying aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Carried. Number 6, this is the adoption of the per diem rates for the town of Wilmington for 2025. The IRS has moved it to 70 cents per mile for official business, and the per diem is based on the U.S. General Services Administration schedule of rates for 2025.
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution number 7, this is the designation of financial institutions. New York, NBT Bank NA and New York Class are the official depositories for the town. Additionally, its first resolution further authorizes Supervisor Smith and Deputy Supervisor Preston as the official signatories of the supervisor's account, and 2, Don Stevens is the official signatory for the town clerk, tax collector, and water accounts. We have a motion and a second.
Make it.
Second?
Okay.
All in favor? Oh, any questions?
On the 21st resolution of the new bunch that we got, it says, per the investment policy, we need to set a maximum amount on the bank balances for that.
Yeah, we have to actually adopt the policy there.
Right, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I think that should be amended if we do, and
Yeah, when we get to, we understand what that is. This is just designating those are bank accounts.
I think the policy says that this should say what the maximum amounts of those bank balances should be.
Okay.
I could be interpreting it wrong, but
This is just saying that those are the banks that we use. I don't think it has anything to do with how much money are in them.
Yeah, plus we haven't adopted the investment policy yet, so we can get to that after we get there.
They don't- they're not gonna afford it.
All right, there's a question, all in favor, signify saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution number 8 is the designation of the official newspapers of the town. We have the Adirondack Daily Enterprise, and this year we selected the Sun Community News also as the official newspaper. Have a motion and a second, please.
Make it.
Second? Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Questions?
Do we need 2 newspapers?
Only one's a paid newspaper. We have to have one paid and then we can put.
No, actually, it works out that it's a daily and a weekly. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hold on. Why the change from Lake Placid News to the Sun?
I just think the Sun, Lake Placid News is the Adirondack Daily Enterprise. The Sun gets read by a heck of a lot of people in the community too. And it seems appropriate that we would put notices in that newspaper as well.
I think that this is where we we are, the Lake Placid News and the Daily Enterprise cover Wilmington much more than the Sun. And the Lake Placid News, as long as I can remember, has always been Wilmington's official paper. I think we should continue to support the Lake Placid News, and I'm not in favor of changing to the Sun.
Thank you for that. Have a roll call vote, please.
Okay, Tim, you're a no?
Yes, I guess I'm a no.
Darren?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Better?
Yes. Resolution number 10 is the selection of Nicole Forbes as the budget officer for 2025. May I motion and second for that, please.
Where'd 9 go?
Number 9.
Where is 9? What is 9?
Legal
Number
counsel.
9 is the legal counsel.
I don't have my copy of 9. Does somebody have a copy of 9?
No, it's not in the new one, it's my copy.
All right.
Legal counsel, maybe because you didn't put that one up yet.
No, I wrote up, it says that the town is not selecting a specific legal counsel and it will be done sort of as a case by case, but we'll do that at another meeting.
Okay.
We'll skip 9. Resolution number 10 is the budget officer, Nicole Forbes. Can I have a motion and a second, please? Tim makes it second, please.
Second.
Nina, questions? All in favor?
I'm gonna abstain.
Karen abstains. Rest in favor. Resolution 11, this is the receiver of tax and records management. That the town board hereby designates Don Stevens as the receiver of taxes, register of vital statistics, marriage officer, records management officer, and access officer for the town of Wilmington. May I have a motion and second, please?
I'll make it. Second.
Okay, let's say Tim make it, Darren seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution number 12 is the authorization to the highway superintendent. Be it resolved that Highway Superintendent Louis Drugner, or the Deputy Highway Superintendent, is authorized to rent or purchase highway equipment and materials according to Highway Law, Section 143, and the town Wilmington procurement policy as necessary, as well as to hire temporary employees as deemed necessary. I have a motion and a second, please.
Make it.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions?
I do. The amount on last year's resolution was for $2,000, not to exceed $2,000.
Should we amend it to include not to exceed $2,000 without board approval? You want to make a motion to amend it?
I would make a motion to amend it.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion?
Before we do that, Louis is here and I'd like to ask his opinion. Is that enough to do purchases as far as tires and cutting edges and things deemed necessary with the inflation rates?
So it's 2,000 now. It would be better at 2,500,
That's what I was thinking, 25.
but,
No, would
a
you,
lot of times what I would do too is, for 1 month something and then the next month that way, but 2,500 would be better.
would you amend your
I would amend my statement.
to 2,500.
Better.
Second. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Favor.
Yes. Resolution 13 is a prepay authorization. It is the town supervisor, or when required, the deputy supervisor authorized to pay in advance the audit of claims for public utility services, postage, freight, express charges, in addition to the New York State retirement and health insurance costs before they are audited. These payments shall be presented at the next regularly scheduled board meeting as audit as prepays.
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, question? Roll call vote, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Tina,
Not staying for one payment.
abstaining.
Yep.
Favor.
Yes. Resolution 14, this is the designation of the FOIL officer and the FOIL appeal officer. The town board hereby designates Dawn Stevens as the FOIL officer for the town of Wilmington, and that Favor Smith, the supervisors, the FOIL appeal officer. We have a motion and a second, please.
Could you tell us what that is?
Freedom of information law. So people, will want to see the contents of a file. And so they make a written freedom of information request. They're a very specific kind. We have a period of time in which to respond. We can be reimbursed for copying costs. We don't have to disclose anything that is protected under privacy information. And so if Dawn decides to withhold a piece of information because she determines it was private, and this person doesn't like it, they could appeal to the appeal officer, the supervisor, to get a different ruling before. There's a lot of lawsuits in the world with FOILs. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Did we vote on that?
No, we've gotten, it was moved by Tina and that's as far as it got. There was no second.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, just questions?
No questions. Just, Dawn, you should change it so your last name is spelled correctly at the start of it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't write this.
I know.
That's it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right, schedule of fees, 15. I hope you guys looked over this thing to double check to see if it was accurate.
I did.
All right, so it's a
Make it.
make a motion. Second.
A second.
Okay. All in favor?
I have an
Just-
amendment.
Yeah.
The resolution we did in July of last year shows that the variance application is $50 for the planning board fees under zoning board fees. I believe that should be 50, not 125.
So the application fee should be what, 50?
50. On the second page at the top. And then the community, the subdivision application fee, I would like added to that, the community fee per lot. I'd like there to be excluding familial subdivisions in there because they're exempt.
And that was in the original thing too.
Where would you put that, Laura?
Underneath the community fee per lot.
Okay.
Also, we added a sign permit application.
Okay.
Which is $50 and it requires a special use permit.
This is just the fee, so it's $50, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have that on paper. I printed it from the resolution if you want it, John.
I do.
Yeah.
Thank you. It'll make it easier.
Yep.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Laura's made corrections to it of $50 for the application fee for the zoning board of appeals. The sign permit is $50. And to we put on this thing that the community fees for subdivisions excludes family subdivisions.
These fees were initially set in 2010, as far as I know, and I have compared them.
No,
Using-
these.
I know.
Okay,
I know. We did update them last year. My point is, based on what they were in 2010 compared to what they are today, the vast majority of these are not keeping up with the rate of inflation. So I know that no one's going to be too enthusiastic about increasing any of these tonight, but
But we're not going to increase them tonight, so.
that's something.
okay, well, I'd like to make a motion to amend that we increase the STR fees by $100 for whole home vacation rentals.
Is there a second for that motion?
I would make that.
All those in favor of that? Well, wait a minute, let's do a roll call on that one.
Let's see what I do.
He wants to increase the
STRs again.
To 400 for whole home rentals. That would exclude accessory dwelling units, which there's roughly 15 in town. Like if you have a cabin on your property,
Okay,
that they wouldn't be subject to that fee increase.
And why wouldn't they be if it was rented?
just a moment. We're not talking about that. What we're talking about, he's made a motion and there's a second to increase that STR fees to 400. Yeah, are we gonna, my point is the purpose of this is to tell the public these are fees that we've set. That's what we set last year. And we're, maybe can help us look at which fees we're gonna raise every 2 weeks at the next board meeting. We've talked about this before. We've had a resolution. We've set it at 300. The public has gotten a bunch of certification fees. They're reapplying. It's all been set at $300. It just seems premature at this time for us to make a change like that when the resolution is about a schedule of fees. But we can vote because there's a motion and a second.
It would be helpful and it's fair. The average STR rents for $330 a night. It would be helpful for the town budget.
Okay,
So
Tim,
we did just send all those
Yeah,
renewals out,
that's right. We changed.
so they are paying the money.
The people who are really on the ball and were the very first people to register will get a break, and that's appropriate.
All right, let's get a vote, please. Tim,
Tim,
this is on your amendment, so.
Got it. Yes.
Sharon,
No.
Laura,
Yes.
Tina.
No.
Favor.
No. So, back to the original resolution, schedule of fees. The motion was amended per the suggestions and corrections from Laura.
But I would like us to see, maybe take this back to the planning board about changing, maybe going back over these fees and then doing these up again where we increase some of the building permit ones. I think we
And
can
we
do
can
that
do
with
that
the law.
after, this
Right,
this is
absolutely.
for
I'm
organization.
totally on board with that. They're all,
And we
A lot of
just
them are
did
pretty
the building permit fees like 6 months
I
ago.
I know, and I voted for that, because it's a step in the right direction, but.
You were the
they're
one that
not
suggested them.
Correct.
Okay,
However-
I need a vote.
Wait, yeah, I'm making a vote. Order, please. Roll call. Go ahead.
Okay,
Schedule of fees.
Tim,
These are not the numbers I suggested. I guess I'll vote no. I'll vote no.
Darren,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Tina, Favor.
Yes. Resolution 16, this is the adoption of an ethics code policy for the town of Wilmington. This is taken from the state. I didn't really make too many changes to it, so. And motion and a second to adopt the ethics policy.
Make it.
There's Tina seconds, more motions, questions?
When I submitted this in March, I asked that we remove section 18 because we don't have a board of ethics.
Nor are we likely to find one.
So I think we should scratch that.
I've just heard a questioning whether this is something the state requires us to have in there. Whether we actually achieve it or not is a different question.
It was the model code of ethics. It doesn't, I mean, it came from a model code. I
Okay,
don't think
I'll be happy to
it's a
amend it.
mandated code.
Okay, so,
I think she's right, we usually use the counties, but.
okay, so we can scratch section 18, the Board of Ethics. So, a motion and a second, the amendment is to scratch section 18. Can I have all in favor of that and adopting it as amended?
Make it,
Oh, you,
we have to motion the
I need
amendment, right?
eyes, I need everybody to say.
So we need a
that.
motion for the amendment?
I just sort of,
No,
Okay.
I'll write it into it
yeah,
when I do
just,
the resolution
it.
part at the beginning.
Aye.
aye.
Are you for it or against it? I can see the hesitation.
Yeah, I wish we were going over this a little more carefully. This seems a little rushed. However, it is positive. I just wish it wasn't being done this way. So I'll vote yes.
Okay, so all in favor.
Resolution 17 is a credit card policy. This is, governs the use of a credit card policy, credit card that the town has. Credit card purchases over $1,000 will require prior board approval. Credit card purchases between $400 and $1,000 require the prior approval of the town supervisor. There is one credit card, it's in my name and it's locked away. So typically what happens is somebody comes and suggests that they need a credit card for something and I ask them what it's for and find out those kinds of things. This is just a policy that, we need to have in place for when we get looked at by the state at some point too. Plus it makes sense. So may I have a motion in a second, please?
I'll make it.
Second.
Any questions?
There's just, I would take out the under on the third bullet point.
Oh. Gotcha.
I would delete the last bullet point. It doesn't seem that it's necessary to review it annually.
All policies are supposed to be
Reviewed annually. But
It hasn't always been done, but they're supposed to be.
so it's in there. So we have a roll call vote, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes.
Harry.
This is a new policy. I had sent out some examples to the board towards the end of last year. I think we should adopt, well, at least this policy, the reserve funds policy, and the investment policy. We can at least deliberate on for a little while longer. But I'm bringing it to the board's attention that this is a fund balance policy, so it's a resolution to adopt one. May I have a motion in a second, please?
Make it.
Laura makes it. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. I highlighted, but can't see it very well. It's on page 2, the minimum unassigned fund balance. We're going to have to work on what sort of numbers we want to place into these policies. What this policy does is it helps the board express its wish to how much of an unassigned fund balance it wants to carry on its books, and those sorts of things, so that we probably would do better by getting a handle on what the board would like to do. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion besides my explanation of that?
Similar to the last one, I just think this should be discussed at a regular meeting and discussed more in depth rather than adopted this way. Like there's a lot of, kind of as you suggested, there's a lot of, I have marked this up, there's a lot of parts of it that I have questions about.
Right. One of the reasons why I'm introducing it into this meeting is because I handed one of these things out 3 months ago or something like that. And we need to actually focus on it at some point and get something done. And this is something we can get done sooner rather than later. It would be nice to start 2025 with this kind of policy and setting of returning to it at some point, and then maybe next year at the organization meeting we'll be sitting with another one like that. So I'm encouraging the board that we need to take some action on these things, and I want them to think about what that amount will. Now this one I'm going to be the next one. So let's make a motion. I'll make the motion to withdraw that.
Okay, so we're tabling this.
Yep.
Donna, for me to vote to table something, no, so.
Okay, great. I make the motion. Is there a second? 10 seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Carried. The next thing is Resolution 19. This is a reserve funds policy. I'm recommending the board adopt a reserve funds policy in order to help guide it when it sets up reserve accounts so that it acts in accord with the law. There are basically 4 types of reserve accounts recognized by the state of New York. There is a capital account, which has two features. One is you've identified the truck, and that's what you're putting money away for, and it'll have the estimate and things like that. The other is the type of capital improvements. So you want it for equipment for the water department and things like that. The second major one is called the repair fund. Now the repair fund's kind of tricky because if the state has 30% of the taxable assessed value in the town, we need the state's permission to put money in and to take money from it. I talked to the real property office, and apparently we're at 19 or 20%. And then the third one is called the contingency and tax refund account. So this would be the money where we would put into a reserve account that would be used to pay down tax levy to be used under contingency. What this does is we're adopting a policy that says these are the types of accounts that we do. We haven't set up any reserve accounts, but we would have to adopt a policy so that helps guide the board and the boards in the future with what to think about when it wants to set up a reserve account. So it's a motion and a second. Sorry.
Thank you.
Laura makes it. Is there a second?
No second.
Darren seconds. Questions?
We do have a couple. We have savings accounts with reserves in them. Like the beautification, the water truck, the road fund, the parks truck, there's definitely money set aside in things. And then we have made resolutions in the past to put money in reserve. So I don't know what happens to all that. Like, what do we do with that?
To me, if we have to clean it up, we will. But what the town would be doing is it would be adopting the policy that these are the types of accounts going forward. So, for example, I'm going to suggest that we set up a capital account for the Corning Property Homestead Housing Project, specifically for something in that along the line. As soon as we get some money or whatever it is that comes in, we set up that account so that it makes it nice and neat set of books for that particular project. When that time comes, we would be guided by what New York State says the law is. And so the policy would help guide us to set up those accounts. That's all. These are the 4 accounts. It would just be the policy. Whether we actually ever set up new reserve accounts for like a repair account or not, it's up to the board at the time that needed.
On the 3rd page of this resolution, the first paragraph, it seems like that sentence can just end at 2.5%. Maybe I'm not understanding it, but it seems like the period could just go after 2.5% without the rest of it. If I have my pages in order, which hopefully I do.
What was it? The first
I may
paragraph?
not have my pages in order.
I think, I'll be honest with you, I think I took that directly from the language.
Where
The controller's office has a set of policies on that.
that's my next point is at the end of it, there's these appendixes with so many blanks
That's right,
that are not filled in.
because we haven't set up the reserve funds. Those are the templates that we would ask the board to use in the future when it wants to set up a reserve fund.
We did we already have a contingency set up, correct?
We have budgeted $40,000 for a contingency. It's in the general fund, so it's not governed by this.
So the way that this is meant to be adopted is with all of these things that are blank and not filled in.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we may never get a repair reserve fund, so, Schedule C doesn't need to be followed or used.
You probably don't want to know about the typos in it, right? Not really.
Roll call vote, please.
No, I think this should be discussed in a little more depth and with a little more time. I'm going to abstain. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's being rushed.
Okay, Darren?
Yes.
Laura?
No.
Tina?
Yeah.
David?
Yes. Resolution 20, this is the updated procurement policy. This is to replace the procurement policy adopted in 2014. I'm going to suggest that we consider this tonight because the county's asked me for a updated procurement policy for part of their own grant applications and things like that. So, and they pointed out that ours was from 2014 and out of date.
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions?
Is this something that we are also supposed to update annually?
We're supposed to review these annually. The procurement policy, the investment policy, and the ethics are all mandatory by law. The reserve funds policy is not mandatory, but it's good stuff. But we're supposed to review these things periodically. But we, as Wilmington hasn't reviewed it and made some changes to something, but the original was adopted in 2008 or something like that. So part of any grant application, anything like that, so suddenly we're getting money in that's being handled by the county for the grant. They'll be asked, where's the procurement policy for the town, or where's this policy from the town? And so I'd like to be able to hand it to them and say, here you go, you can check that box.
Where is this from?
Town of Essex. Okay, resolution 20, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Tim, are you voting yes?
Yes.
Okay. Opposed, carried. Resolution 21, investment policy. Again, I'll be happy to table this so you can look it over. We can fill in some of the more of the details, but as I mentioned a few minutes ago, this is one of the ones which is required under state law, and they'll be looking to see if we have one of these when they show up. So I'm moving the table. Second, any, all in favor of the table? Aye. Carried.
Can I just, on the second page where I was referring to, I just wanted you to look at section 5 or 7. That's where it says that the amount should be in that resolution at the organizational meeting. Second page,
Oh, secondly.
number 7. That's what I was referring to. If it gets adopted, the maximum amount should be on that.
Authorized for deposit of all time up to the maximum amount.
Which one?
No, here's the thing, Laura. Is it the resolution that authorizes the bank Or does it have to set a maximum amount? Oh, we could discuss that later. Okay, so that's the end of the resolutions. My comments are going to be brief. As one can guess from the types of resolutions that we're doing, my hope supervisor this year is to help sort of set up these kinds of policies and structures so that the town can budget with a little more confidence about what's happening next year. Nothing's ever perfect about that stuff. I've been also hoping that the town, the other things that we've done is going with a permitting system for use of town facilities and things like that, so that people have sort of clear understanding about what's expected, going forward to using the town places. It's gone on long enough, so I won't talk anymore. Thank you. So any public comment about this?
No, painful.
We have a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make it.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Hey.
Okay, we'll hold another meeting in 5 minutes.
These were part of last year's, but I didn't know if we need to address these, if it's required for us to address them, or if they should be.
Yeah, it's funny. So
Well,
the
right now, we
supervisor-
matched you, Jay, and like Placid.
And we're very,
So basically, I went there, far out.
raisins over
To make
the.
the organization that he was. And then I watched those organizations. And I didn't see him. So he's like, I try to flatter him, but it seems he really
Oh,
rarely
okay.
uses things like that. But if it's needed,
Yeah. Yes, I would want to have that.
I prefer individual resolutions.
No. I'm saying these resolutions,
Yeah, they came in last year.
do we need to reread all of them?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't do that.
You didn't do the, like, petty cash and,
Exactly.
okay.
But then maybe we do.
Those resolutions, as far as setting petty cash and stuff for the town clerk, is stuff that's always been a part of every organizational meeting since I've been on the board.
That's fine.
But
That's fine. No, I went with the new format. And so I may have missed stuff.
there used to be a whole list of just
Yeah.
little things like that we had to do at the organizational meeting.
What's that?
Petty cash amounts, things like that.
Yeah.
Here's the.
It's just a dream.
Yeah. Do you think that is right where she's going? Do you think she's going? What she?
She wants to do many things in life. You know, and I just don't.
This is not gonna be any better. I can't believe we talked about every single one.
So what are we gonna do? The banks and stuff on another meeting?
Which one?
The, like the garbage, how much is in the garbage, how much I have in my drawer.
Well, I'm not gonna worry about it. I mean,
No, I haven't. They called me like 3 times today. Yeah.
you're in the store for something.
Laura,
The amount that I can have in my check. So I just said,
Already.
okay. Okay. They get zeroed out.
Except for the tax.
He doesn't drink Mountain Dew Zero. He doesn't like it.
I feel like I hate it.
You look great.
The hair.
I know.
He's unique, all right.
He looks like one of those little weevils that the hair used to grow out on the little.
Yeah.
Don't hate me because I'm you.
I know. I bet you it's a lot warmer than shape.
He always wears a hat anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'll ask you to-
This agenda wasn't posted anywhere, right?
Yeah, it was.
Town website?
The agenda's on the website. It's
No,
not posted.
the organizational meeting is what we're on, not.
Peanut butter both on.
Pardon?
Peanut butter both on.
Yeah, they were on Facebook, they were on, they're at the post office.
The agendas, are you looking for the resolution?
No, I mean, everything that you just went over.
The resolutions?
Resolutions themselves?
Yes,
Oh, no, those aren't.
not just the title of it.
Those will be in the
Well, you're
minutes.
talking about the text of the resolution.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
The packet.
No, we haven't put them up.
Okay.
You want.
Because
You know, it's just that.
They're never on the agenda. That's always in the minutes afterwards if you want to review them.
Because they changed.
I'm explaining to her, Tim.
Yeah, no,
So I could give you some if you want.
I'm just, Miss Curious, that's all.
Yeah.
And as you're going through all of this, of course, we don't know.
Right, yeah.
And then I think I'd like to read it.
Right.
Not that I have anything to say about it, I just like to read it.
Yeah.
So I,
Like I've got several.
okay, just to be more informed.
But remember when you're reading them, that they made adjustments to something.
Right.
So when they're in the minutes, they're not gonna be exactly like that.
Right.
Will they all be in the minutes of the meeting?
There's all those resolutions will be in the.
So I can make a photocopy of that. But I think it would be nice for the people who attend to have the packets to be able to follow along with some of this stuff.
That's not what an agenda is for. An agenda is an overview of what we're talking about. It's not supposed to be the meat and bones of every single
I
resolution.
know, I'm not talking about the agenda, I'm talking about the packet with the actual,
Resolution.
correct.
And they get that afterwards.
I think they're supposed to be available to the public before the meeting according to
Who am I witnessing?
That's true.
Which one?
the rules.
How about you?
I'll Sable Valley.
Oh, we can write our name.
Okay, fair enough.
I remember seeing that somewhere too, and I don't know where I saw it though.
Yeah, we've just never done it.
They're always available. They just have to come into the town offices.
If they asked me before the meeting, I could print it out for anybody.
There you go.
But I do have an extra one of it for
Amy,
Yeah, no, I'm thinking maybe, I'd like to know.
it makes sense.
Because I'm kind of.
It makes sense. Yep.
I agree.
Whose is this? Is this yours, Tina?
That reminds me, I need to get you a copy of the budget.
Sorry.
That reminds me, I need to get you a copy of the budget too. Remember? Yeah.
Actually, I did the budget for your copies of that. Make copies of the budget, and did that one. It's just something like this, it's just so many papers, but
John, can you get Nancy a copy of the budget too?
I don't have that done, so she'll have to get that from me tomorrow.
Good. Thank you.
That's in the other room.
All right. Calling to order, this is the regular meeting for the town board of the town of Wilmington. So it's the call of order. The first thing on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes. So we have minutes from December 10th. I have a motion and a second to accept those minutes.
Make it.
Laura made it.
We'll second.
Darren seconded it. Any questions, discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The second is the December 26th regular meeting. Well, yeah, the regular meeting, what we call minutes. We have a motion to accept, and there's motion and a second to accept those.
Make it.
Second.
Questions, discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, guests. Hello, Youth Commission. Sorry, thank you for waiting.
Been a while. I'll be super quick. I just wanted to, and I know some people are already aware of that meeting, and Mary resigned. So I wanted to thank them for all their volunteer time. Everything they've done for us. We do have an organizational meeting January 31st. If anybody knows anybody that's interested in becoming part of the board member, please come to our meeting. 5:30 after you center. The 31st, January 31st. Anybody is welcome to come anytime. The first Thursday of every month at 5:30 after you center. And second, I wanted to let you know I held a sign up for the ski program on Monday. We had 10 kids sign up. Some need rentals, some don't. The first day is going to be January 26th. So Sunday, it's 6 Sundays, I think, and 1 free Sunday. I was emailed by 2 businesses that this is the first time this happened that wanted to sponsor the kids. Because we did ask for $50 this year just to encourage more attendance, because sometimes we would have some kids that would come into the program and maybe come once or twice. So we wanted to encourage a little bit more attendance. But I had 2 businesses email me asking if they could sponsor the kids.
Nice.
What's that?
Nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. The first one was Mountain Valley Credit Union here in town.
Mhm.
She wanted to, her name was Maggie Pope, I think, is the manager.
Yeah.
She was very nice. I talked to her for a while, talked to her a few times. She wanted to sponsor a few kids. And then I got another email. Someone I didn't know, his name was Matt Kamrowski. I don't know if that's a familiar name to anybody. He has a house on Indian Rock. And he asked how much it was, because he comes here on the weekends, because he takes his son to White Days, does the ski school, and saw that it was $50. And I said, it's $199 per kid. It's $159 for a pass. And if they need rentals, it's $40. And then White Days gives you lessons for free if they need lessons. They don't go too high with the lessons. They just get you able to get on the lift and ski. So I told him the truth, and I said, it is $199 a child, and he wants to sponsor all the kids.
Oh.
I know. I cried. I was like,
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
It was really exciting. So he,
Can you give me the correct spell and say everything for the minutes?
I will. His business is called East Coast Service Group. They're out of Peaky and
Peekskill.
Peekskill. Yeah. It's like a telecommunications contractor. So I told him last year we had about 15 kids, and I gave him a roundabout price. And he said, I'm going to sponsor all the kids. I talked to Maggie about that, and she will want to sponsor the chaperone pass. So it'll be completely covered this year. The town commission won't have to pay for that. I just want to get him an invoice. He wants to write a check whenever it comes up. So if we can get Whiteface, I'll talk with Lauren about getting an invoice a little bit sooner this year.
Okay.
Maybe we can get him
To write the check.
What's that?
To write the check, yeah.
And then get it paid just because
Right.
I like to get things done. So I was really happy. I was really taken back by it. I haven't had any businesses come to me and offer to sponsor anything like that. So he wanted to sponsor everyone. So that's all I have.
Very nice.
That's it.
Um,
I'm really excited that,
I know it's sort of out of order, but I think it's appropriate we make a motion to thank Bethany and Mary for out of order of my agenda, not out of order because it's rude. So we make a motion to thank them for that, if that's okay.
Favor, I agree with that. I'd just like to thank all the members as well as the ones that are staying on.
I understand, but two people are leaving,
For their years of service.
Yeah, years of service kind of resolutions. What that is. So that's my motion. Is there a second universal?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Unanimous.
Unanimous second. Okay. Thank you. Reports from the department. Hello, Lily.
I only got one thing. Remember I talked to you about an electrical issue we're having at the highway garage?
Yes.
We've had multiple ones. We fixed one already. JFP, the company, the contractor that did the work for the garage, I contacted him. They had a subcontractor that did the electric, SNL Electric. So they're actually meeting me tomorrow to take a look at the problem we're having there. The lights, or the garage door openers and the cold storage don't open now. And we've been sort of having some problems with like wires chafing and stuff.
Okay.
So they'll be there tomorrow and let us know what they're gonna do.
Has it been a busy season for this
Snow
snow?
plowing nonstop and fixing stuff and stuff since before Thanksgiving. So
So you'll give us an update, let us know how it goes with the guys for their repairs.
Would they be warranted? Like, is that
I'm
like,
hoping so for the money we spent.
yeah,
So I would think it would be because in a month after it was done, we had a little issue. They came back, fixed it. And then we had, remember, I think in the summer, the lift bay lights stopped working. And we actually pulled the wire out and saw it was chafed, so we fixed it. So this one, actually, the breaker keeps tripping, doesn't even come on. So that's a little bit out of our qualifications. So I'm pretty sure they will.
When you say a wire's chafed, what does that mean?
They're peeled back, so the copper's showing. So it's what
They're
it's
over-peeled.
grounding out and tripping the breaker for safety on the electric. So
And is that in the panels, Louis, or is that like through the holes where they pulled them up like into the attic and stuff?
that's what it looks like where they pulled them up through.
Got it.
So that's why I'm pretty positive it's gonna be good. I had Cliff Holzer come look at it too, and he said, no, absolutely, it looks like where they pulled the wires. That was the problem, so. But other than that, it'll be on winter.
Thank you.
Lou, I had someone ask me, and I just want to make sure that I have this correct. You said to pave a road, it's like it's more than 100,000 a mile, right?
It depends on the prices in the summer it changes monthly, the prices of blacktop, but in the ballpark, you're looking at a mile of road, 100,000.
Okay, I thought that's what,
In that area.
just wanted to
It
make sure I
fluctuates a
remember.
little bit, but
He wasn't looking for the exact cost, but.
Yep. that's pretty much where it's been for the last 5 years.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Louis.
And this year, Bellevue Road, we're gonna be paving that.
How many miles is that?
That's 0.6 tenths of a mile. So it's less than a mile, but
60,000.
we also shim it and bring it level and stuff like that, so it'll end up costing around that again, so. But that's it, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. The water department, Ed gave us his annual water report, which will get posted. That's the yearly water data for 2024. He also gave us his monthly report. There was a couple of leaks this year that Ed helped out with, and then they were repaired. So a 2-inch service line at Bill Huber Lots and a service line for Riverbend Way was he locates the leaks, and it's it's important right around Christmas when their water is got to get shut off because it's Christmas time and things like that. So I think it does such a fabulous job with identifying, locating, and responding to leaks for us. So I appreciate it very much. So that was his report. Parks, we'll talk about parks when we get to the.
On Eddie's thing.
Right, yeah, please. Sorry.
So I was involved, obviously not as a town board member, through one of the leaks. And one of the problems that some of these lines are having, especially like the one on Bill Huber, and there's 2 or 3 lines that exist in town, is they're lines that start in the district, but then they actually serve out of district properties.
Okay.
I think the town board should, in the future, at least make some type of resolution or look at something to where at the start of every one of these lines, we have a meter on the lines. Because right now they're metered at the house, but they're not metered at the start of the line. So when this line leaks and it was going through the woods, especially if it was summertime, it could leak for a month or 2 before somebody noticed. Eddie noticed at the water plant, but I feel like if there was a meter at the start of these lines and we require that there's a meter at the start of these lines, if they want to continue water service, then it would give the town a better idea of actually what's happening on these lines, especially since they're out of district lines to begin with.
How many do you think we have?
You'd have to talk to Eddie, but I know of at least 2. I think there's probably maybe 1 or 2 more.
Okay, I'll be happy to ask him to look into that too. I know with Eddie, he called and got help from Morris Coolidge to locate the leak on this one because Morris has some machine in a box that listens to pings and things like that. So
if we would have had a meter at, for example, at the start of that line, Eddie would have knew immediately that there was a leak without having to go through a lot of that.
right, so that's the other benefit from doing it that way.
These lines, do they serve more than one house?
That one did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just for line breaks, not really for billing.
They're already billed through different meters in their residences, but not for the line. And this particular line probably extends 500 plus feet.
Yeah.
Or more.
Sounds good.
If it's out of the district, are we responsible for it?
No, but if it loses a bunch of water, then
No, I'm just saying though, once it gets past the district, then it's on them.
yeah, it's still a private line, but it just helps the town kind of maintain an idea of what's going on these lines, especially since, like I said, this one's probably closer to 1,000 feet long.
And it was a biggish leak. So how big is the leak going to be before the town suddenly faces its own sort of water issues and things like that? So getting it shut off may be very important. Locating it right away would be great.
That's it.
Thank you. Parks, well, I'll mention about John is skating rink is going terrifically. Thank goodness for the cold weather because they've been able to maintain it. John believes this may be among the busier years that he's seen in a while because we've been lucky enough to have a streak of cold weather. So it's being used. We don't really have, I don't think, good metrics on how many people are up there. But it is so far so good. We had that one thaw, and that caused John and Ashton to have some difficulties getting people who skate on it when it's too wet and pushing up snow that suddenly becomes an ice block. But they sorted that thing out nicely, and it's going pretty well. The wind has been whipping, so it's been somewhat difficult to take down the rest of the holiday ornaments from the lights and things. And also, John reminded me today that today is this period of time is cheap Christmas decorations are on sale. So he's discussed with me, purchasing a couple just trying to do that annually, get a couple to replace some of the older worn out lights and things like that. So that was his discussion with me. Codes. Doug has given us his monthly report. Any questions? Okay. And nothing from dog control. Board, Tim.
Okay, I have a lot, but I'll be as quick as I can. For anyone who doesn't know, the governor did sign the law related to vacation rentals, charging them sales tax. And there's more to the law than that, but that's one of the highlights of the law that a lot of people pay attention to. So that will be helpful for Essex County. The projection I saw is that will bring in roughly $2 million a year for the county, just based on that sales tax. And then some of that sales tax trickles back to the towns based on a complicated formula, but mostly based on population. Our STR cap seems to be working well. There's currently no one on the wait list. This is based on the reports that we got from Doug. Yep. So, some people didn't renew, and then he was able to take some people off of the wait list. And as far as I know, there's no one on the wait list now. So there are these zoning amendments to our zoning code that I drafted 2 years ago. I'm not looking to do anything with these now. I'm just passing them out, and hopefully we can discuss them in the future. Next month or several months from now, 2 months from now. These were inspired by the Dollar General store application, and the intention is to give our planning and zoning board grounds to say no or put limits. The intention is to give our planning and zoning boards more legal standing to enact guidelines and restrictions and do some things that I think a huge percentage of the townspeople want. So, the idea is not to say no, but it will allow the zoning or planning board to say yes, but. So we had spent quite a bit of time working on this. My first year on the board, it petered out. It's been on the back burner, one of these many things that have been on the back burner for all of last year, and I'm just trying to get it going again. In a similar vein, from our 1987 code, we had language in that code. Our last zoning code before the current one, we had language restricting clear cutting. I'll find that language and circulate it to the board, and hopefully we can do something with that as well, because I try to respond to what I'm hearing from people, and I think that is a concern for a lot of people, the amount of clear cutting in Wilmington in the past few years. I try to be understated. So I think there probably will be an effort to get going on doing a comprehensive plan for the town. I have spent some time, I haven't read every page, but I could be wrong. So correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, this is the last comprehensive plan.
Well, it depends on how you qualify the plan that Randy produced for the waterfront revitalization. That almost looks like a comprehensive plan. He needed something very much like a comprehensive plan in order to qualify for that grant funding. So that's probably, it's not called the comprehensive plan, but that's probably the closest we have to an updated comprehensive plan that we have.
So if this is the actual last technical comprehensive plan,
1975.
Yes, I will be making photocopies of it for anyone who wants photocopies. I'll be scanning it so I can provide it to people, anyone who's interested. It's very informative. I got a lot out of it. The main takeaway is how similar things are, and all their recommendations, how little progress has been made on some of these recommendations. To put a positive spin on it, the two things that a lot of progress were made on were more trails in town and more sidewalks. But there's a lot of recommendations that I think would be extremely applicable today. So summer concert series, Colin is willing to take that over if Nicole wants. Talked to him yesterday.
He needs to speak to the board. He hasn't spoken to us about it yet. And we are the deciding factor on that.
You are the deciders. Okay, that's not what it's not the impression I got.
Well,
It's real.
I retract that statement.
Colin may not have realized that he had to go.
well, Colin
Yeah,
also
no.
wants to do as much as he can for the town. He's loving his job and he's enjoying being involved, but he needs to also realize how much work it is. He has other things that he has to do also, so.
He did have good ideas. Like you said, he had a lot of enthusiasm, and I enjoyed talking with him about his ideas for it. So he's obviously open to it. And then I have to bring this up again: the town social media page. What's the update on that? It looks like a official town page, but it's not an official town page. But everyone thinks it's an official town page.
Well, there are only two people who can access the Facebook page, and it's Favor and Nicole. So,
Favoring Nicole.
Yeah.
Good. That's positive.
so that makes it kind of official, I suppose. But go ahead. It's your report.
That's great news. I'm glad to hear that. I get people asking me why aren't the minutes or why aren't the agendas posted. I don't know why they're not posted, but people do look there for the agenda because then they contact me to ask where the agenda is. So just bringing that up.
If he wants to give you the floor, go ahead.
What's the name of the Facebook page?
Town of Wilmington.
Okay. I didn't know if it was something new.
No, it's the one it looks like the official town page, but wasn't technically the
Okay.
official.
Thank you. Wilmington.org?
No, that's the website. The Facebook page is just the one that has existed for probably 8 years at least.
Yeah, that was a long and complicated chain of people who started it, ran it, who had access to it and stuff like that. Now it's just Nicole in Favor.
That's good. I'm really glad to hear that. And that's my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Darren.
My report is not going to be long, and I'm just going to wish everybody, Happy New Year, and hopefully this year we can work together as a board to try to get some of these policies and things tidied up. I know we've been working for years to try to get some of these things in place, and they seem to get stalled. So hopefully that's positive. I think there's some things that the town needs to work on as far as getting some policies together as far as replacement plans, both with the parks, building maintenance and things like that. I'd like to see the town start working towards some of those goals and have some visions and have plans rather than just being like, all right, well, our furnace is 20 years old, now we get to replace it. Maybe start with some of those reserve funds and things like that. So we're not always caught, because it seems like the town of Wilmington has a bad policy or a bad name of always getting in these situations and not really planning for stuff. So I'd like to start planning a little bit farther ahead. Other than that, hopefully we have a good year and we can move forward.
Yep, appreciate that. Laura.
Darren, any news on the generator?
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of,
We're going to have to declare it to be one of those situations.
we're probably going to end up having to put it out to an official bid, because I just can't get people. I got 2 quotes back. The third person never got back to me, and we're stuck with 2. And
No, we may have to, wait a minute. It depends.
so
What's
the amount is in, I think the 8,800 was the high. So
Oh.
it depends if we can do it with
the
2,
procurement policy?
and according to that, we need 3, and
Yeah.
we've only got 2, and I can't get a third. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we can continue reaching out to contractors to try.
As long as you did the intent of doing 3.
Right. So
Right
we'll,
out there,
I would agree.
We'll
so we'll have to look at that policy and
So-
go forward. But we do have 2 quotes in, but
Okay,
we haven't moved forward just because
Yeah, we
I was
can,
thinking we needed three.
I think the board can make a special finding that these are
As
sort of,
long as
Yeah,
you make
as long as you made the
the
intent to
attempt.
put out
You
three.
did your
Yep.
due diligence.
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Made the
That's
attempt.
all you
yeah,
have to do.
yeah. So, all right,
So
well,
I can get with Favor and we can get that on
Perfect,
next month's meeting.
perfect, that'd be
And
great,
it needs to be $5,000.
thank you, but, so, back to Laura.
Short and sweet. I did, my sister and I did on December 17th, we did another advanced directive workshop. The EMS asked us to come and do a tutorial there. It was well attended and we had a great time. Thank you for having us. And then I finally got off my bucket list the visit to the water department, which was awesome. It was 6 a.m. He gets his day going at 6. I'm up at 6. I
You were
went
there
down
at
there.
6?
I was there,
Good
6
for
a.m. It's a long commute from my house down there. But, anyway, we had a really good time, and I now know what a turbidimeter is, and I know what chemicals they add, and I saw the whole process and the computer system and the mapping, and I think he does a great job. So he was, I had a good time. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Tina?
All I have is just the update on the library program is they approved their 2025 budget, and that's available for anybody who wants to go down and get a copy of that. They purchased new audio video equipment, and they're going to expand on their programming potential. And they rolled out their Thursday night programs, and the first one's going to start January 16th with banking safety at 6 o'clock. And flyers are over there on the table for anybody who wants to take one. And I also wanted to say that the rink has got great reviews this year, our skating rink, and I've seen it in 2 different articles where I've seen our rink mentioned.
Yep.
That everybody's enjoying it.
No, it's a beautiful
It's a
spot.
great job.
Out of towners have been using it too.
A lot of
Out of
times,
towners.
people from Keene have been coming over, people from Lake
Upper
Placid have
J,
been coming
J.
down.
Kids have
Yeah.
been coming up and skating.
They've all been coming around, yeah. They're really enjoying it.
Very fun.
So, yeah.
Back to the fee schedule.
Yeah, and
Sure.
actually, a lot of our skaters from Lake Placid that use the rink up there, the groups have been coming down here like at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's been used, yeah. So, that's all I have.
Thank you. My report is, let me just mention this to Tim. The comprehensive plan, what happens is like the town of Essex is getting a new comprehensive plan. Theirs is like, 2,000 something. And they get a grant and it's about $60,000, $70,000 to help get it. Jay's doing something like that too. That may be, I've been talking to the county community resources people about getting these kinds of grants because I totally agree. I mean, that 75 and What happens with, as I was saying about asking for procurement policies, one of the conditions New York State often puts on these things, why Randy ended up having to do it for the local waterfront revitalization, is they want an updated comprehensive plan. And that is check, or if you don't have it, you don't go any further in the request for funds. So it would be worthwhile investment for Wilmington to get down and join the other towns in the county and try to find $70,000 from a grant to contract with people. And then they go out and get the community involved and things like that as best they can. But that's just for what it's worth.
Did read Jay's survey results. That's one of the first things they do is distribute a survey. It was very interesting, and I think that would be good for Wilmington to do a survey like that. So,
And-
okay.
I believe, there were 2 different places, we got denied on one, we got the other, but I believe it came through the east.
Yeah.
You're right, you do need it to get more grants in the future.
Yep.
Gives you that one step.
You need a grant. Yeah, more grant.
Yes, it's
Grants
crazy.
to get-
The only other item, it's not a report exactly, but I'd like to offer a resolution of condolence to Mike Cadeau and his family for the loss of his father last week. Mike came in today. It was very soon after his father had passed, but he wanted to process mail and take a look at things as best he can. But I thought that would be appropriate, so I'll make a motion that we offer condolences to Mike and his family. Unanimous.
Unanimous.
Thank you. That's it for my reports. Old business. Listen, the permit thing, I really need us to agree on at least the form, so that I can start handing it out we've got people, so the Visitors Bureau has already requested, dates, and venues for their calendar. The Whiskey Run, wants a date and a calendar, for its venue. I had a request for somebody who wants to book the pavilion here, Festival Field. And I really, I'd love to have a permit with Carissa, is somebody who I'd be talking to about helping us manage this new system. So we just need to adopt the form and maybe set a fee. That's, for outsiders especially, because the Adirondack Sports Council, they're gonna come in, with their, mountain bike race again. And things like that. So if we could get that done at this meeting, it'd be great. Then we can start passing it out to the public. So I gave copies of that. We've made some corrections, typos on Tina's been making changes to her copy, or Darren, you did too, Tina?
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you talk about those corrections?
So on the back, second page, number 7 and number 11. Because number 7, where it says, parking on the grounds, they park on the grounds over here at Preston Field. When they drive in, when they do the Festival of Colors, they're parking on that field. And then on number 11, where they want 24-hour notice for prior to the events of the names, addresses, and phone numbers and people that are going to be selling. Sometimes vendors show up that day. But not only that, but when you're renting out the field, I'm renting the field to Tim. Tim's going to be the one that's renting that field. So you're going to be in charge to be in charge. You're the contact person. You're going to be giving us your certificate of insurance. So I don't need to know all that other information. Absolutely. The town doesn't need to know that. So that's not information that you need to tell me every single person you got coming. So that just doesn't need to be there, in my opinion.
I didn't write it.
I'm just saying, I'm renting the field to you. I'm using you to the person I'm renting the field to.
Okay.
So, no, I'm just saying, I'm renting you the field, so you wouldn't want to have to give me every name and
I'm fine
person
with
that
that.
you're bringing to your event.
And if there's a problem, then they won't get another permit. Right.
Right, but I'm just saying, because I'm renting you the field, so you wouldn't have to list everybody that you were having brought to your event.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's why I was thinking in that line.
I like the form. I think it's a little vague with the, who's renting it. I think a town of Wilmington resident could be anybody affiliated with these markets and craft fairs and things, and they could just say that hey, you live in Wilmington, you represent us, you're the person who lives in town, you can do that, and then we'll get a lesser fee. I think it gets a little muddy there. And most of our events are run by the Visitors Bureau, and I think that would be quite a hit on our fees if we didn't charge them. That's my 2 comments on that.
Well, I think with
I
the
agree
applicant's
completely.
name and address would be a full thing. I think your name, address, and
Right, but I'm saying, say all of us are, there's one person who lives in Wilmington, but the person who's actually running the festival or the craft fair or whatever is not, so they could say, hey, you live in Wilmington, you say that this is your application and it's not.
It's the straw person.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hold on for a second, Joe. Okay, so apart from tightening that up, do we all sort of agree in principle that we can eliminate 7 and 11 from the form?
Yes.
Yes.
Is 7 because they don't want to rough up the grounds and have
No,
tracks and things like that, or is it?
Well, other places, they don't want parking on their fields and things like that, but we allow it a lot. So, again, I lifted this wholesale from some other place that I just threw in there.
Minerva?
What's that?
Minerva?
No, I didn't get to Minerva. I don't know where I got this from. Just Charlie first.
No, she was saying, somebody from Wilmington, which I understood totally what you were saying. But then you say, okay, is the insurance in your name? They're gonna have to give you insurance to rent the place.
Yeah, they have to cover it.
So then you'll know whether they're really from Wilmington or not.
Oh, what? Then?
Good point.
Steve?
All I was gonna say is we updated ours so that the person had to be responsible for any damage done. For instance, we had the fair come, or not the fair, but circus, in the middle of the ball fields.
Mhm.
And the elephant hearing and everything else killed the grass on ball fields, which had to be all completely redone, which is a cost to the town. So I don't know how that's written, but just want to make sure they're responsible for the damages.
There's, and number 5 says, not that you can see it, but it does say that, yep.
That was one of my comments. We just, it cost us quite a bit to fix after the
Yeah.
circus came through.
For that.
Why don't we, I can suggest we adopt the form. We reserve a discussion of fee, because I just want to have the forms kind of available. I certainly don't want to, I personally don't agree with charging the Visitors Bureau a permit fee when we have a contract with them for which we pay $14,000 a year as a budget item. So that's just kind of a waste. But apart from that, we still need to set a fee amount, what we think is fair and reasonable to the public. Because they're entitled to know what those fees are ahead of signing up for these things. You can't just make it up on the spot. Oh, you look rich. It's X.
I think, to that point, I think they should be uniform across the board.
What does that mean?
Not distinguishing between nonprofit and for-profit. There's so many nonprofits that have billion-dollar endowments.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
That line is so thin that it's
I agree.
non-existent.
Yeah.
So,
Mayor,
Hmm?
we didn't put anything in there about renting to like the wedding stuff. I sent you both, all of you, an email that we keep getting from people that want to use it for the before wedding reception thing, that the dinner, rehearsal dinner.
Right.
Okay, we don't have anything in here that would fall under that.
Why
I
not?
thought we weren't doing like small, like celebrations.
Okay, so he doesn't need anything.
I mean, I believe that's what we
For
discussed,
sure.
if they weren't
For sure.
making, if it wasn't if it wasn't
An
something
event,
large
event.
scale or, yeah. I can't remember where we landed on that, so that's why I didn't reply, because I
I
didn't know.
don't think we landed, is what I'm saying.
No.
So I need guidance so that this man keeps calling, he keeps sending emails. That's why I finally sent those out to the board. What do I tell him?
And it's a local,
No,
how big?
it's, he said, well, I've got 2 of them. One has 30 people, the other one has 12.
No, we should be renting it.
I know, so if you're gonna rent it, you're gonna rent it.
They have family that lives here though. So, I don't know.
Do they have to have insurance? Like, what do we,
Again,
Be
there
like a
you go.
picnic.
If you're renting it out, they have to give you a certificate of insurance.
for a wedding?
It's not for a wedding. They're going to have a picnic.
If they're renting your facility and you are giving them a rental application, they have to give you a certificate of insurance because they are now on your property.
I'm just confused
Okay,
about
so if
the,
we didn't
I
charge
just-
them, if we do nothing and just
If
tell
you
them.
don't
we can
charge
use it,
them,
right, then they don't need it.
Pardon me,
Okay, so-
Darren, please, go ahead.
I'm just confused about the whole thing in general.
Yeah,
In the sense of, like,
I'm
all
not
right,
sure
we
what
have the, one over in Preston Field. So we're renting it, we're not renting it. What happens if somebody, a family shows up there with 25 people and just uses it? They didn't rent it. Like, how can we distinguish and say when we're gonna rent it and not when we're gonna, if people just show up there and then we're charging the next person? I don't understand how we're gonna police and
Yep.
charge some people and not charge other people. We have to have a thing where it's like, all right, a certain area, the ball field's being used for Bike Fest, and we know it's an organization coming in, which is completely different than a family of 12 or a family of 20 having a family reunion and using our pavilion at the Preston Field. Like, we have to have some type of thing. And then to go along with this, I mean, there's things in here that says, failure to repair, and $100 an hour will be charged against the security. What security? When are we charging a security? How much security?
It's a credit.
Like, there's so many things that, I mean, I understand the form,
Yeah.
and I do think we should get on certain things, name, person responsible, insurance, and things like that. But I just think there's too many question marks as far as to have all these rules when we don't have answers for any of the rules.
You're coinciding with what Laura had said, which is we avoid that topic altogether. First come, first serve. If you want to use a pavilion for some get together, that's fine. So then we'll be going into the idea of the events. We know what the events are. We've had them here for years. And so how do we treat those? Can we get a permit for them? The thing that I'm hoping to do with a policy like this was avoiding having to come in front of the board every time you want permission, and then the board making a unique resolution about, well, today you're going to have insurance, or everybody gets insurance, or you don't get the insurance, and things like that. It's a permitting process that saves time, and does it require the board to be the one that decides each and every one? Because who knows, you've got 5 votes. Tim, you had your hand up.
Thanks. I have heard complaints in years past, and I think this was probably a while ago, but just the beach being overwhelmed by people from out of the areas, like wedding events. But I think if that was a reoccurring problem, we would have heard that from John. So maybe it happens once or twice a year. Maybe that is an issue, but if it was happening every week, we would have heard about it. So I agree with everyone else that it's not necessary. I guess someone should ask John, just make sure it isn't a problem, but I think it's the way things have been done. People aren't abusing it too much, but it is being abused. There are people who are abusing our public parks, definitely, and holding their events and generating a lot of trash that our taxpayers have to pay for, et cetera. So.
So that was further discussion. There was no motion or to adopt that form.
So I guess you could probably take the beach off this,
I drafted that earlier in the
and
year.
then you're gonna keep the festival field.
I think we need the beach on it for that's just that one that uses the beach,
Oh.
that July.
Is that
The two fly thing uses the beach.
the two fly?
Yes,
Yeah,
two
that's
fly
right.
uses the
Barbecue
beach.
and.
Is
Yeah.
that a town
Yeah,
of,
two fly. I
is
forgot
that a
about them.
Whiteface Visitors Bureau?
Yes.
Does?
But
Yeah,
you're
the bike
right,
path.
the river.
I forgot, yeah.
Yes.
They were last year.
Yeah.
Are they a
So
Visitors
we would
Bureau
have to.
even?
do that. No.
No, I'm not encouraged.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
going to
forgot
let
to
them
fly.
have the beach.
Two flies definitely.
Yeah, I forgot about them, yeah.
So the beach is, right, well, last year included the ride to the river, but it's the 2 fly, the village, the town get together, and the music in the park.
I think you said coming in, I think it could very easily be accomplished, whether it be Joyce or another representative from the Visitors Bureau at the beginning of the year, come in and say, because their events are every year, and say, all right, these are our 4 events. This is where we're having them. We'd like permission to use it. We do it at the beginning of the year, done. We don't have to revisit
That's
it.
all.
And there you go again. I'm just throwing that out there again, when you're talking about charging, who you're not charging, the Wilmington get together. That's
I know.
all done on volunteers and Sadie getting the donations from bottles and everything, that this is all volunteers that put this together every year. So now you're gonna be talking about charging for them to.
Right, no,
I'm just saying.
I never contemplated
No, I'm
charging
just saying,
visitors.
but that's when
We
what we have down there,
getting
you
them a
know,
bouncy house is the
you know.
biggest challenge for us.
Well, athletic events, never mind.
You know,
There
I
are
don't agree
two,
with that.
there are 2 workarounds for that issue. The first workaround is that we would exempt organizations without any employees from paying the fee. if they're truly across the board volunteer groups, that they could maybe be exempt. And the other would just be give whoever, I'm not sure if they have a name, whatever this group is called, give them a stipend from bed tax. It was more than the cost of the fee. So they could pay the fee, and then the town would also be contributing to the event. And therefore they would not be exempt. They would be paying the fee.
Who are you talking about?
They'll get together.
But,
Go ahead, Charlie.
but
Raise
if
your
you do
hand.
that, are you then making Sadie have insurance?
We haven't.
Or we could treat Sadie as just like another wedding.
So it's
Just-
just
just
a
like-
volunteer, it's just a bunch of Wilmington people getting together.
Right, well, if they get together, then she shouldn't, right, because that's not our she's not responsible for everybody else that is there. They're all coming on their own.
Right.
You're coming down, you're on your own. If you come, you're coming because you're coming with your dish and you're coming to enjoy the day at the beach. You're not coming to,
I mean, if you decide to have a family reunion with your kid,
mhm.
as I said, hers, there's no charge.
I don't know.
They're
We
never
haven't
gonna-
gone that far yet.
That seems
That's
to be
happening in
what-
August. We haven't got that far yet.
So
So
basically, what
we'll
we're
get there
saying,
whenever we decide what we're doing it.
I think what we should do is, at the next regular meeting, we adopt a schedule allowing the Visitors Bureau and set the terms in the resolution for the Visitors Bureau use of those things. And that we play it by ear with the the Adirondack Sports Council and their race, because they haven't approached yet. And things like that.
Are they a not-for-profit?
Yeah, of course, a 501c3.
So, but they are making money on this event.
But, no,
Oh, yeah.
they raised a lot of money for themselves. They've got big donors. So we'll have to deal that sort of as it comes up. And I think the only condition I certainly would put on any use by a third party for the event was that the proof of insurance, adequate insurance. It's really sort of made me nervous about whiskey runs and whiskey choppers and things, and that's town property. Somebody getting injured on town property, our insurance doesn't cover it. We're looking at some serious problems. So that's just my old habits kicking in. It's a risk to the town, but everyone needs to provide proofs of insurance, adequate insurance, and we need to adopt a policy for sure on that.
so the way I'm hearing it, and we could probably wrap this up fairly quickly, is we're trying to just police organizations. It's like we're not trying to do individuals. So if an organization, even, the Historical Society is still an organization doing an event.
Yep.
We're not trying to police Charlie from having a family reunion because it's not an organization. He's just an individual having a family reunion down there. So I think that's really what we're trying to do is to do organizations and not so much individuals of any type.
But
Ad hocism. This is not targeted at ad hoc groups. I have to say, the Visitors Bureau does a lot for the town. I know that this will be misperceived, unfortunately, probably. I do feel that fees should be uniform across the board. The town subsidizes the Visitors Bureau by, depending on how you look at it, nearly $20,000, between $25,000 and $30,000 a year. Rent on the building, there's no rent. Town labor for the events, it's a direct subsidy. So these fees are not going to be astronomical. They're going to, it's very opaque what these fees are going to be, but if they're $500, I think they should just be $500 for everyone.
As far as the Visitors Bureau, I think we'd be spiting off our nose
Yep.
or cutting off our nose to spite our face. It's like we contract with an organization to help promote Wilmington, and then we're going to turn around and charge them for promoting Wilmington and bringing events. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, why have an organization that promotes Wilmington and wants to bring events and have activities and things going, that's what we provide, and that's what we want them to do. And then we're going to turn around and charging them to have the events that we want them to have here. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, if you don't want to charge them, another way to look at it, we could just give them a slightly lower subsidy. The reason it's fair and the reason it's right is because a lot of taxpayers, these events, just the events themselves, cost the taxpayers. And a lot of the taxpayers don't have that much interest in these events. So I don't think that they should be subsidizing them to the extent that they are, and to the extent that they have been. You know, we really need to tighten up on our finances, and this is one way to do it.
Okay, so, nothing further. I'll make some notes about this, and maybe I can put in an email what I think the board can more or less decide on at the next meeting. So the new business is the Parks Department, the John Deere tractor repair. John has gotten, because it's a John Deere and only one vendor for John Deere in upstate New York and Vermont. He's given us two prices. One is for a new, which would come with 1 year warranty, and the other is a used, but it was just used to the extent of it was out of the box once and put back in the box. According to John, you can check with him. He's suggested that we go with the used. The 1 year warranty right now, it's January. We purchase it, we get it, and then we have it for 2 months. And then, the year's going to be out in the end of December when it's working again. So the warranty period only, will cover an awful lot of the summer when it's not being used for anything. So his suggestion to the board is that we authorize him to purchase the slightly used out of the box ones.
Make it.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Nope. Sorry, I'm out of order
It's
again.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes. Next is Mark Right?
I already talked to John about a couple of things, and I figured
Sure.
this is the appropriate time. John did mention to me there was a couple things that we had talked about last year that I thought one we approved, and apparently we never did, which was a dump box for his truck. When I have talked to him this year, he said he's still in need for that, or a dump trailer he could use instead rather than a dump box. I would like to give John permission to at least, he's already got the permissions on the dump box, and he's like, I've done it 3 times. People don't even want to quote me anymore because I keep doing it over and over again. And we're not going anywhere with it. He said a dump trailer may be more useful. That way, if he's in Plattsburgh with his truck and Ashton's here with another truck, it can be used between any of the town trucks, and it's not for one specific truck. So I'd like to see that maybe on the agenda for next month so we can finally get this approved, because John said that this has been brought up multiple times, and it has, and I actually thought we'd approved it once and it
I did
didn't get
too.
approved. So that's something I'd like to see move forward. John has also indicated that although we're getting this new snow blower, which will be great for the rest of the year, the tractor itself is getting tired, and he has brought this up to us numerous times. He said all the pipes and lines on it are bad. Basically just running it in the road salt all winter long, year after year after year, has taken a toll on the tractor. That is something that could totally be purchased out of occupancy tax, because it is a tourism related, because it takes care of all of our sidewalks and uses for our flowers and things like that. So I'd also like to see that placed on the agenda to discuss replacing this tractor before it gets in any further disrepair and the new snow blower would work on further or newer tractors as well, because I made sure to talk to that about John. So I just wanted to
Great.
talk about those couple things so we can get them on the agenda for next month.
Have you ever thought about getting a broom? For one of those
That's what we
tractors?
need to do. We need the broom, plow, snow blower, and a bucket.
That's what I'm saying, the
With a
broom,
quick
because
attachment.
we could use the broom within the
Yes,
sand and
'cause
stuff on the
Like
floor,
today, we
yeah.
had a dusting and snow, we just put the broom on and did all the.
And that's what tears the snow blower apart too.
Yeah.
We're using it on a dusting and snow.
Right,
Two, this tractor doesn't have a quick attachment on it, so it takes them 3 hours to switch from the snow blower to the plow.
Oh, shit.
So,
Sorry.
yeah,
Sorry. Sorry.
yeah, normally, like our
Sorry.
stuff has a quick attachment on it, it's 2 days. So, the tractor definitely seen better days.
Darren, I would be fine with passing those resolutions now.
Well, I think we need to get
we
some
need
prices
to
and talk to John to get some input and things like that, but as long as it's on the agenda for next month.
Okay.
I also thought we'd already approved the box.
Well, the problem is the truck that the box is on is shot.
Okay. So,
Getting the dump box, you have to put it on a newer truck.
And he was just worried now if he puts it on his truck and then he's gone with his truck, then Ashton still won't have it to use. Where a trailer, even if Louis needs to use it or Eddie needs to use it, it may be more beneficial for everybody townwide. And like when he's doing leaves and things in the cemeteries, you know, the trucks or the dump boxes on those trucks are probably 2 yards, where a dump trailer would be 6 or 8 yards, and he'd be able to make a lot less trips and hopefully do the cleanup after he lost the prisoners and things like that. To help with the cleanups, he really struggles in the cemeteries to do that at an efficient rate. So.
Thank you. Yeah, somebody remind me, I'll put it on the agenda.
Thank you.
Next is a board liaison. So last year, the town has had, more or less over the years, a liaison from a board member to go to a particular department or something like that. Last year, I didn't know enough how to do it or do anything like that. Is that something that we would like to resurrect?
I don't,
we should.
No, it's a discussion. This is discussion. I'm not telling anybody what to do.
sometimes I feel like my vocalizations are not wanted. I don't necessarily feel like I think the ground gets, or whatever, it's a long day, sorry. I feel like it gets muddied, you try to be helpful and you get told what are you talking about? Or, no, thank you, or no reply. I don't find like being involved in things that are not directly board is necessary or accepted. So I don't think it's worthwhile, to be honest with you. I'm happy to be someone that Louis or Eddie or anybody comes to talk to relay concerns to the town board, but I don't want to be told that I have to go to a meeting that I can't speak up at because it's none of my business, and then, have it thrown back in my face if I can't make a meeting, which all of those things have happened to various people on this board, and I don't think it's something I'm looking forward to.
So that's a no.
Well said. Well said.
Okay.
The one, I like to be positive about this stuff. And this has been happening on an ad hoc basis already. Like Laura and I do go to the planning board meetings. I do go to the youth committee. Like Tina goes to the visitors bureau meetings, I believe. So to a pretty substantial extent, this does happen. This is happening. I know Darren's involved with a lot, as his comments at every meeting indicate. So.
Okay. Next is an audit board. I've given the board members another thing on my list of things for the town to start doing is to talk about the annual audit requirements that are required by town boards to audit the cash accounts. Somebody, the supervisor is the chief fiscal officer, and there's a check